Hello, and welcome to Badass Moms, brought to you by the Holistic Therapies Directory. I'm Nicole Cruz, super busy mommy coach, helping busy parents get healthy and fit despite being sleep deprived and interrupted every 2 minutes. Today, I'm going to rant a little bit about the get ready for summer craze. And bear with me because in the end, I'll conclude that I don't actually hate it as much as it may seem like I should, but hear me out, okay? So, it's spring, and that means that we moms are going to be bombarded with the message that the number one thing we should be worried about of all things in the world, right? You know, some of our kids will be graduating, some going to college, some of them starting kindergarten, all this stuff that can happen, you know, in normal life and towards the end of a school year. What could possibly be more concerning to us than if we can pinch the tiniest bit of fat when we're wearing a bikini? I mean, we have families to take care of. We have careers in a lot of cases. You know, we have so much on our plates, but nothing can possibly be more disturbing to us than any little bit of visible cellulite when we're going to have to wear a bathing suit soon. It's absurd, really. But that's what we're going to be bombarded with. And so while we're handling all of these things that are much more important, we're going to be made to feel bad about ourselves if we don't look like a Victoria's Secret model, which, honestly, let's be real, when you're bombarded with those messages, no matter how ridiculous it is, it's really hard not to internalize it a little bit. And I mean, I can go on a rant here about why I hate the body shaming, but I think a lot of people already know that. And so in this episode, I'm actually going to talk about why I've learned to embrace this. And I've actually decided, after thinking about it, that they're right, actually. Looking great in a bikini should be our number one goal in life. And let me tell you why. Well, first off, if we busy moms want to look good in a bikini, we obviously need to implement a fitness and nutrition regimen. Now, obviously, we don't want to just look good in a bikini in a few months. We want to look good in a bikini for a really long time. So it has to be the type of fitness and nutrition regimen that gets us fit from the inside out. And, you know, obviously we can't possibly have any kind of, you know, sagging skin or anything like that. God forbid. You know, aging is prohibited in this imaginary world that they have. But we need our skin to be firm. And so we need to have a regimen that really gets you fit and healthy from the inside out, so that as you build muscle and get rid of that fat, it tightens the skin around it, right? And, you know, reduces or minimizes or gets rid of whatever stretch marks you may have from bearing a child. Because, I mean, God forbid you actually look like you had a child. So, you know, we need to make sure that this is a high quality fitness and nutrition regimen that'll get you fit and healthy from the inside out, so you can look good in that bikini. That's the most important thing. Let's remember that. So you're going to implement this fitness and nutrition regimen. Now, as busy parents, in order to implement a fitness and nutrition regimen, we need to figure out how we're going to fit it in with everything else we have to do in life. Now, obviously, this is our top priority, so it would trump other things like, you know, I don't know, caregiving or, you know, having a job so that we can take care of our families. But, you know, given that we sometimes have to let other priorities into our life other than looking good in a bikini, it makes sense for us to think about time management and prioritization. So first, we want to, you know, make sure that our fitness and nutrition regimen are as efficient as possible. So we need to engage in innovative problem solving. For example, what regimens are effective when we are sleep deprived and interrupted every 2 minutes. We have to figure out solutions to that. We need to figure out how to streamline our nutrition planning, because perhaps weighing every tiny little bite that we're about to eat and logging it meticulously to count and then graph every little thing we're eating, that might not be completely feasible for all of us. So we have to get a little bit creative. We have to streamline. We have to learn how to simplify this process. And, that takes some skill. We have to look at time management overall. So one important thing to look at, are you using your time in line with your values? Now, obviously, number one value is looking good in a bikini, but you might value other things such as health, family, perhaps contributing to the world in a positive way. And so if you are living your life in line with your values, you're going to feel a lot more fulfilled. Whereas if you're letting outside views about how things should be determine how you use your times, or other people's expectations of you determine how you use your time, then you're going to feel emotions ranging from minor agitation or stress to emptiness even, or to just a feeling that you're on the wrong course in life. And so it's really important that you're managing your time in line with your values. And so if one of your values is implementing this high quality fitness and nutrition regimen that will most importantly have you looking good in a bikini, but also, less important things like help you to live longer, be independent longer so that your children don't have to take care of you for as long when you're elderly, things like that. You need to learn how to make that a top priority and allow other things that may not be as important to you, even if it seems like you'll be judged for them or you've internalized this idea that it's bad. Sometimes you just have to let those things go. And so you really have to be aware of what's in your mind and make these decisions looking at the overall picture. You need to be efficient and effective. As a busy parent, some things, no matter how important they are, just won't get done. You can have a list of 5 super important things that need to get done and only have time for 3 of them. That's just what we face all the time. And so you need to be as efficient as you can, which means you're using your time wisely and you're not wasting it. You're multitasking when it's helpful, and you're focusing on one task at a time when it's helpful. For example, perhaps you can be making an important phone call while you're waiting in a long line, or whatever the case may be. You're diligently planning your time, using it effectively, and you're not wasting it. Okay, so entertainment and pleasure, that's not necessarily a waste of time, but when you're succumbing to mindless entertainment and pleasure when you should be doing other things instead of engaging in pleasurable activities when you've actually allocated the time and it's actually a good time for you to do it, and you're going to be able to relax and enjoy it and bond with other people over it, that's a totally different story, right? And that's something that you may want to prioritize along with looking good in a bikini. So you're going to look at all of these different factors, decide what's important to you, manage your time in line with your values, prioritize, and be efficient. So again, planning out your time, making sure that when you're supposed to be working or being productive, you are working or being productive, that you're putting enough break time in and rejuvenating time in so that when you're trying to work, you're really on top of it. Working longer when you can't focus and you can't be into it isn't really very helpful. So you really have to, increase your capacity to handle that amount of pressure. And there are many ways you can do that. And obviously this is so that you can look good in a bikini. But one of the things you can do is you can delegate, right? So you can manage relationships around you, and you can set healthy boundaries, advocate for yourself, and share some of the responsibilities you have with other people when it makes sense, and also share some of theirs when it may make sense and be more efficient. Okay, so in order to manage your relationships, you need to have a sense of self-worth. If you're going to manage relationships in a way that allow you to live according to your values, you need to kind of have that self-worth. You need to have enough assertiveness to advocate for yourself, to stand up for what you feel is right, even when other people may go against you. Sometimes it may even get in the way of some of your relationships, especially if you've been very passive in the past. Other people may not like if all of a sudden you're looking out for yourself a little bit. Managing relationships means building a support network and being able to deal with it and maybe change the dynamic of a relationship if people aren't supporting the direction that you feel you need to go in, which obviously is implementing this fitness and nutrition regimen so that you can look good in a bikini. So when you're managing your relationships, for example, a lot of the moms will come to me, they'll say, it's like, oh, but it's so hard to cook healthy because then I have to make a healthy meal for me and then I still have to cook a regular meal for my husband. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why are you cooking two meals? And sometimes it makes perfect sense. Maybe that's how they've decided to delegate responsibilities. And, the husband has certain things he takes care of and the wife has certain things she takes care of. But I'm like, well, sometimes I'm like, well, wait a minute, you're both working full time, and meanwhile you're the only one cooking. Like, what is there something he's doing, or is this just an unrealistic, an unfair expectation, right? So that's an example that comes up sometimes. Building a support network means that, sometimes even people who care about you and genuinely want what's best for you may not agree with you on what's best for you. And it may be important, you don't have to separate yourself from these people or drop them from your lives by any means, especially if they're family or your, friends from when you were in high school or whatever the case may be. But if most of your support network tends to be like that, then you have to start building up a new one. You have to find people who share your values and who are going in the direction that you're going in, because that positive peer pressure is going to be absolutely crucial when life starts getting in the way. Okay, so once again, if you want to look good in this bikini, then you have this high quality fitness and nutrition regimen to get you fit from the inside out. You're managing your time in line with your values, making sure you're prioritizing, and you're managing relationships to, advocate for yourself, set healthy boundaries, build a support network, delegate where it may be helpful and efficient. And then another factor that you need to consider is, if you want to avoid burnout, you want to have more ability to choose how you use your time, then you need to achieve enough success in your career to be able to demand things like the pay that you need to support your family comfortably. And this is important. I'm not talking about luxuries here. I'm talking about things like, if you need to work 2 jobs in order to support your family, it's going to be much harder for you to be healthy. If you have trouble taking off of work and you're going to work sick all the time, or you have to use all of your sick days for your children, which means there are none left for you, that's going to affect your health too. Flexibility. Can you go to school functions? Can you do all the things that are really important to you, such as make sure you look good in that bikini and, shopping for that bikini, things like that. But anyway, you have to achieve enough success, and we don't always have the same opportunities. And so this can be much more difficult for some people than other people. But if life has dealt you a more difficult hand, then even if this isn't something you can do instantly, it's something that you can work towards for the future to put yourself in a better situation, instead of being complacent or thinking that your efforts just aren't worth it or it'll never happen. You may have to work twice as hard as other people to get there. You may have to be a little bit creative. You may have to dedicate twice as much time and effort to personal development in order to make you the type of effective and knowledgeable professional that will allow you to sort of, shoot up in your career a little bit more. And, so I'm not trying to minimize the obstacles that there can be to getting to this place, but if you can get to that place, imagine what it's like if you can say, you know what? I actually am going to hire someone else to clean the house so that I have time to go to the gym. Things like that can really make a big difference in your health, in your ability to live in line with your values, and most importantly, helping you to look good in that bikini by summer. Another factor is discipline and willpower. When you have all of this pressure and all of this responsibility on you, it is only natural that at times you are going to want to just collapse. You're going to want to stop. You're going to want to have a breakdown, and that just can't happen. And so you need to figure out how to increase your discipline and also manage your willpower. And so increasing your discipline means being able to separate yourself enough from your thoughts and emotions to evaluate whether or not they're serving you, and then, if needed, override those thoughts and emotions and act against them. This is no small accomplishment when you can do this, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. And more so for some people have more of a natural ability to do it and some people don't, and it can be really difficult. But, when you are, say, you have an infant and you're waking up in the middle of the night for those feedings and they're not quite sleeping very much, and then you have to wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to get them ready, get yourself ready for work, you probably don't feel like doing power burpees. I know that when my son was that age, I didn't feel like doing power burpees. And I can tell you, even though now he's 4 years old and it's a lot easier, I still usually don't feel like doing power burpees at 4:50 in the morning. But that's where discipline comes in. And so being able to override not just the feeling of, oh, I don't feel like it, but the brain has this amazing ability to start rationalizing it. Okay, so it's like I'll be in bed and it's like, okay, there's the alarm. It's Tuesday. Today's the day I got to get out of bed and immediately do sets of power burpees. Oh, why did I tell me? You know what? Why don't I just do tomorrow's workout instead? I'll just switch them out. That'll be fine. I'm sure tomorrow I'll wake up really feeling like I want to do power burpees. So that'll be fine. I'll just put it off. Or, I've been really run down. Sleep is important. I should just press snooze another time for another 10 minutes. I'm sure that extra 10 minutes of sleep will really make a big difference compared to the power burpees I'm about to do. Or, people are sick at work. I don't want to lower my immune system. I should really rest. I mean, like, the brain, it's amazing in its ability to rationalize things and tell you, it's like, you know what, you're being unrealistic. You're putting too much pressure on yourself, and it's not healthy for you to do this to yourself. I mean, like, you'd be surprised how far you can go in convincing yourself that you should not do the thing you don't want to do. But that's where discipline comes in, being able to feel the emotions, feeling that burnout feeling, that tired feeling, that resistance, that frustration, the stress, whatever it may be, those thoughts that come in and try to rationalize everything, have some separation from them and be like, you know what, that's actually not serving me. The best thing I can do right now, whether I want to admit it or not, get out of bed and do the damn power burpees. And to just let that chatter continue in your mind about how you shouldn't be doing it and all of this stuff, and it's too much to expect. And meanwhile, that chatter's going, and before you know it, your power burpees are done. Managing willpower. I say manage because one of the most helpful philosophies I've ever heard considers willpower to be a limited resource. And while that may not necessarily be true, managing it that way is definitely very helpful. And so when you find yourself lacking willpower in one area of your life, it can really help to stop using so much willpower in another area of your life, whether that's a draining relationship or a negative person, whether that you're just spending that energy on things that aren't necessarily as important. Maybe You don't necessarily clean the house every single time you think you want to, if you're that neurotic clean freak like I used to be and still am at heart, but I have to let it go. Whatever the case may be, you take some willpower away from things that are less important. Maybe you get the kids to chip in with certain things to make it a little bit easier on yourself. Maybe you don't need to manage things with your kids as much, and you teach them to be a little bit more independent, which gives you a little bit more time. Maybe you just aren't as perfectionist with certain things, or whatever it may be that will take some willpower and allow you to allocate it back towards your workout and your nutrition regimen so that you can look great in this bikini. So anyway, you're doing that. And then the other thing you can do to manage willpower, to kind of add a little bit back in, is to give yourself some comfort or some pleasure, which can be something as simple as snuggling with your kids or snuggling with your partner at night, or it can be something a little bit more luxurious, like getting a massage or going to the salon, or, having a night out, whatever it may be, going on vacation sometimes, but again, whether it's something simple or whether it's something more luxurious, doing those things can give you that extra boost of willpower you need so that you can do everything you have to look great in that bikini. So there you go. You're increasing your discipline, managing your willpower, getting in this fitness regimen, managing your relationships, being super effective and efficient, living your life in line with your values by making sure you're using your time in line with those values. You are achieving more success in your career, have a plan to work towards it if you're not there yet. And then the other thing is, in order to really be able to accomplish all of this and handle the stress and the pressure of everything that's on your shoulders, plus looking good in a bikini, you need to implement some sort of mindfulness practice. I mean, you need to have the self-awareness to be able to override your more basic impulses in order to do what you have to do to stay on track with all of these areas of your life, especially looking great in that bikini. So you're going to implement maybe a meditation practice. It might be more of a mindfulness practice that you do more integrated into your life. There are many ways to approach this, but you're going to develop more self-awareness. You're going to find that you can handle stress and pressure with grace, that things that used to really get to you and make you want to break down, all of a sudden you can deal with them in a calm way. You're making better decisions on the spot. You're not wasting time resisting what's happening in life, but instead seeing things more objectively and being able to make a decision, act on it, and then move on without it impacting you. You're not having breakdowns anymore. You have more patience for people. You have more compassion. You are just a happier, more peaceful person in life. You are getting along with others in your life. You are a more centered and grounded parent for your children. You are setting a fantastic example by going for your goals. You are advancing professionally. You are developing personally with your mindfulness routine. You are increasing your health from the inside out. You're working on your nutrition regimen. You have your fitness regimen. You are setting healthy boundaries. You are showing leadership capacity by being able to delegate when appropriate, being able to stand up for yourself, being able to live your life in line with your values. You are setting such a wonderful example for your kids, and you're doing the things that you would hope for them to do in their lives so that one day you can give effective advice on how to do it. And also because they're going to do what they see you do more than anything else in the world. And so if you're doing it, they're just going to assume it's normal. And those are the habits that they're going to develop and take for granted. Like, how can anyone else do it any differently? So you're doing all of this, and that is what it takes in order to be able to look good in your bikini by summer. So you know what? I hate the body shaming, but if someone wants to come to me and they're coming to me only because they want to look better in a bikini, I'll take it, because I know that what they're going to gain from the process of being able to do that is so deep and so life-changing that it is worth everything in the world. And so I don't care why people start, but I care that, you know, busy moms who have the weight of the world on their shoulders go through this process and really tackle every single one of these factors in their lives in order to be able to get to the place where they're taking care of themselves enough, where they are effective enough, where they are living in line with their values and just centered and grounded and happier. And once you're doing all that, all of a sudden, looking perfect in that bikini won't feel as important to you compared to everything else you've accomplished, but it'll be a side effect. It'll be that bonus thing you get. It's like you're doing all of this, and now you're intrinsically motivated to keep doing it because your life has gotten so much better. You feel so much better. Your relationships have gotten so much better. And one day, you're just going to look in the mirror and be like, damn, I look great in a bikini. So that is why, as we enter spring and we're bombarded with these messages, you know what? Don't take them to heart. Don't give in to them. Don't try as much as you can. While it's totally human to internalize messages that you hear over and over and over again, try to let your higher self come in and remind yourself what's actually important in life. And once you achieve all those things that are actually important in life, you're going to love yourself a lot more. You're going to love your body a lot more, and you're going to look fantastic. So that is why I no longer hate the get ready for summer BS that's out there. Well, I kind of do in a way, but I've learned that it doesn't matter. That's why I started getting into fitness. That's why I started getting on this path of personal development. It was started when I was 17, and I thought I was fat, like many 17-year-old girls. And that was my motivation for starting to work out. And then all of a sudden, you know, I got into the nutrition part of it too. And all of a sudden, the health issues that I've had since for as long as I could remember started vanishing. And then I started getting into it to care for other people. And then I started really getting into the mindfulness part of it because I noticed how much it affected my mind when I was exercising, when I was eating right. And it just all kind of snowballed into this, I mean, it's corny to say, but into this journey that's led me to where I am now. And so I would really love for every single one of you who's listening to this to go through the same thing to get to that same place. And, you know, I have a long ways to go. It's a never ending path, but to just get on that path and see what it does for you. And then finally this summer, you will look fantastic in that bikini because obviously nothing else in the world could possibly matter. I hope you've realized that that's a lot of sarcasm. I posted a shorter video with the same theme and definitely got some angry comments from people who thought I was being serious, which tells you, you know, how bad the messages really are out there, that it could sound like, you know, that people wouldn't actually be surprised if I was telling moms that their number one priority in the world should be looking good in a bikini, not taking care of their families or their lives or, yeah. But anyways, I hope to hear you back for the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to Badass Moms, brought to you by the Holistic Therapies Directory. If you are a practitioner, make sure you check out the Holistic Therapies Directory and get your profile in there so that you can find people who would benefit from your services. And if you are looking for holistic therapies ranging from fitness trainers to Reiki to acupuncture to holistic doctors to life coaches, spiritual coaches, anything you can imagine, check out the Holistic Therapies Directory to see who's in your area and to see who's working online and can help you out. HolisticTherapiesDirectory.com. Once again, I'm Nicole Cruz. the Super Busy Mommy Coach. You can find me on Instagram at Super Busy Mommy Coach and Facebook also at Super Busy Mommy Coach. You can check out my website, superbusymommycoach.com. And if you're interested in group or one-on-one coaching, make sure you reach out to me. The best way is to send me a message on Facebook and Instagram, because I really limit the amount of clients I take on at once so I can give them personal attention. And so really, if you want to look into that, if you want to sign up, just send me a personal message. I will be the one answering you, and let me know that you heard about me on the podcast. I'll give you an extra special bonus gift. All right. Have a wonderful night, morning, whatever time of day it is, and I'll see you next time.